Hi everyone, welcome to episode 8 of My Life as an Empath. My name is Eli, and in this series, I'll be sharing my experience being an empath, a high sensitive person, and an introvert. I am in a different setting today. I'm usually outside and out and about, but today I'm in my back porch. It is nice, it's getting warm, and I have some privacy. um, I wanted to make a part two of my last video. My last video talked about me collapsing an old version of myself, someone that I created as a protective kind of mechanism, someone that I created to please everyone around me because I wanted that connection and I couldn't get that connection being just myself, my true self, my original, my authentic self. So I had to create these personalities uh, in different settings with different people, whether they were family, friends, coworkers, etc. Just to fit in, just to kind of be part of a group, a community. Um, and so I talked about that yesterday, but I kind of wanted to go in depth a little bit about maybe what does that look like? What is that process? And other questions, right? I'm not a professional. I'm not going to use a lot of big terminologies yet. I am learning a lot right now because I am really trying to get a lot of information, trying to learn about what is the empath and the HSP thing, and the combination of that, and um, all the descriptions that I'm learning and reading about. It just makes so much sense to me. I am going through an amazing journey right now. I just had a therapy appointment this morning, and I was excited to share with her about this new kind of like journey, chapter, if you want to call it that way. And it's very exciting to me. And you know, conventional medicine does not treat, I would say, anxiety, depression, and mental health problems uh, with like non-medicine uh, approaches, right? Like uh, it's just very conventional, right? Like you go to a therapist, you talk about things, and you talk about medications, and it's very, I mean, and when I say it's very structured, it's that doesn't mean that's not a bad thing. I'm not saying that's a bad thing or a negative thing, right? I've been in therapy for many years, and I've had this therapy, I'm telling you, probably like for 10 years now. um, Lately I'm seeing her because I'm on PFML. I'm seeing her a lot more, almost every week I've seen her. I just saw her today. I have another appointment next week, so I've been seeing her weekly, probably for the past 2 months approximately. But they don't talk about non-conventional medicine, right? They don't talk about being an empath, or what does that mean, what does that look like, right? It's more mental driven, I guess. I hope that makes sense. I'm trying my best here, but I did take some notes just to kind of guide me a little bit. I might not have all the answers that come up for you, but I'm going to try to explain what is going on with me and what it means to collapse this old version. What does that look like? So my notes are right here. So I'll be looking. I'm gonna try not to look down. So I'm gonna put them right here on the side. Um, so I named it "Goodbye" yesterday's video because I'm saying goodbye to an old version that I had been that I kind of acquired and developed for many decades now, probably over 20 years. Um, and uh, this was like an aha moment for me, like I said in that last video. So I'm very excited to kind of dig into that, because this takes time. You don't change in a blink of an eye, a persona, a way of living, a way of behaving, for many decades in a day or two or a couple of weeks. This is a process, because you get attached to that old version of you, right? It's like a persona that you've created, that has different branches, right? Depending on who you're talking to, and your environment that you're in, right? So, um, it's almost like we have to. It's like saying goodbye to someone that you've known for a long time, and now you have to separate because it's done, right? The relationship is done, um, and it's interesting because it's I'm not nervous about it. I'm just, I think my thoughts are like, wow, this might be harder than I think, right? Because it's become part of you in a way, right? You've created this persona, and it's like you raised it, and you grew up with it, and you held hands together throughout this process and this journey. So, I hope this makes sense. But for me, that's what it feels like. So, I think it's gonna be exciting because I'm very, very super excited and ready to let go. It's almost like, all right, my child is now 20 years old. You're good. You need to go branch out and do your thing. It's kind of like that. I don't have kids, but it sounds like that. Like I'm doing that with my old version. Um, and so, one of the questions that I was thinking about is that people might ask, I guess, and I myself might ask these questions, by the way, as I learn about this process. Is there a process, right? If there's a process, what does it look like? What is that process? Um, for me, uh, it's the letting go process. I think it's going to be the hard part, right? Because um, there's going to be triggers. There's going to be triggers uh, that are not going to go away, right? There's going to be triggers of bringing my old self back, that old version back. There are going to be times where I'm going to be facing some situations, some people and whatnot that are going to make me uh, say, "Wow, this is what I should do about that," right? And it's not like I'm gonna think about it. I think there's gonna be instances where I'm going to, because I'm going to bring up the old version of me, right? Because it's been decades, right, since I've been that way, and I've had that persona, um, that I made my own, right? So it's going to be hard. I think that the process is going to be hard. I'm going to be going back and forth for a little bit, right? And it's also interesting because I was thinking, and I talked to my therapist about this. It's like, you know, as an empath, I'm going to go to those places of, like, if someone comes to me about and they're crying, and they want to share, and they don't even ask, right? They're already sharing, like, oh my God, Eli, can I talk to you about something that happened to me? My mother just found out that they have cancer, and I am devastated. I don't know what to do. Like, that's huge. That's a huge thing. And not only, I mean, again, as an empath and high sensitive SSP and high sensitive, like, I'm gonna feel extremely horrible about this situation for that person, right? And also, like, I'm gonna feel a lot of pressure because now that person has come to you for support, right? And as an empath, that's what we do, right? We immediately want to help. We immediately want to take on those feelings, right? And not only, and we do a lot of times, we do, like, we feel that sadness. Like, my body literally uh feels like like a chest pressure, like a chest pain. It's interesting because when I was talking to my therapist this morning, there was a situation that was shared. It was personal to her, and was shared with me. I don't remember how it was shared with me, but I found out about the situation, and it was a bad situation, I guess, but it was personal to them, and I felt it. I finally told her today about that, and immediately, I'm telling you, immediately my eyes started watering, because I went back. Like, it took me half a second to go back to that moment where I found out what had happened, and it's so it's just interesting how those kinds of things, like, it's I guess I wanted to prove to them that how true this is for us empaths, right? How real it is. This is not just superficial. This is not just about, like, oh, I'm so sorry, wow, like, that sounds horrible. It's not just that. It's physical, it's emotional, it's there's a lot of aspects of I mean, we literally put ourselves in those situations, and it's almost like it happened to us. And I don't do it on purpose. I don't want to do it on purpose. Like, why would I want to feel that way, of the way that person is feeling, when they're going through a horrible situation. So yeah, so we it's just I just find it fascinating that how we become that way, and how unhealthy it is for us. But we don't, because we're people pleasers and we're helpers. Um, we just want to do it. Especially, and I think it's not just because there's a lot of people that are people that are helpers, right? That love to help people, and take care of folks. It's There's no doubt. But I think for empath and high sensitive, our nervous system works differently, right? So we the way that our body responds, it's totally different than a regular person. You know what I'm saying? I hope you know what I'm saying. I'm trying to explain the best I can, but it's neurological, right? So it's the nervous system, your brain, your. I mean, it's everything that you put out there, and so it's hard. So as I say this and explain this, this is the hard part about letting go of a version of, and not only letting go of that version, the old version of me, but also, like, what am I going to do moving forward, right? I need to figure this out, because you know I work in the nonprofit where I have to help a lot of people that are going through very difficult situations, right? These are my clients. So that's another thing. I mean, it's easier for me, and I think the reason why it's easier for me at work is because there are boundaries, and I'm very adamant about boundaries with clients. So it's easier for me to do it with clients, right? Like, to be like, all right, so um, let's talk next time. I guess I feel like it's easier for me. I don't know about other empaths that have clients, that are going through, like, um, not only mental health issues, but financial issues, or homelessness, and or addiction. But uh, but yeah, so I think that's one thing that it's going to be really interesting for me. Um, Another questions that I wrote down was being alone versus loneliness. Is something that I have read a little bit, and I found it very interesting, because as I go through this process of, like, letting that old version of me go, um, I'm probably going to be alone a lot more, right? Because I'm going to make sure that I have control of my emotions and my feelings, and who I talk to, and creating these boundaries, right? Which is going to be really tricky, especially with people that already know you as a certain, they already know that version, that you've presented, that, to them over a very long time. So it's going to be really interesting, first of all, to introduce that into conversations with folks that you already know, but it's also going to mean that a lot of people might either go away, not talk to you, or I'm going to choose to do that because I need to, right? Um, and not only need to, and it's not just only like separation wise, but almost like the boundary of like, all right, so I'm so sorry that you're going through this. This is an example. I'm so sorry that you're going through this, but let's talk some other time, and when you're calmer or when you feel a little bit better, and just let me know, right? So and that's tricky. Let me tell you, I am nervous about that of telling somebody that comes to me crying, give like that's really that makes me nervous, like I said. But I think just thinking about like the lonely piece, when I've been feeling lonely for a long time, right? And that's why I created the version that I did for many years. So the I think it will be interesting to because I think being lonely, or being alone is totally different than feeling loneliness or being loneliness, right? I think loneliness is I think loneliness is more um it's feel for me is feeling not part of, right? Being discarded, right? Being pushed aside, um and then having that feeling of like, wow, I'm not accepted by my community, I'm not accepted by family, I'm not accepted by friends, uh or in a group, right? Whatever group. And I think that's and then you feel lonely. For me, that's how I feel, right? And nobody shows up for you, right? And then being lonely or being alone is my decision. I think that's the difference between both. And because you choose to be alone, so choosing to be alone is you're doing it for a particular reason, and it's for your benefit, right? For my benefit. That's what I'm thinking. So I think that's the difference, and I think that I'm fine being alone. Actually, I don't think I'm gonna have a problem being alone. I think I enjoy, and because I enjoy my loneliness because I've been doing it for a little bit now, and when I'm alone and doing my thing, I enjoy it greatly. I'm at that point where it's just amazing to be in that space. Um, I think the loneliness piece will go away with my old version of me. I think they go hand in hand, and I think that's where they're gonna be walking out together. This video is getting long, so let me. I think I have a couple things, and that's it. Um, oh, so another thing, and I'll make this the last thing, that I was thinking. I was curious to see how I introduce my my true self, not my new self, but my true self, my authentic self, to others, to people, to the community, to my family. And it does make me nervous. It does make me nervous because I'm a people pleaser and I want everybody to be happy around me. I don't want nobody to get upset, right? That's always me, right? And so I think that creating boundaries is what's going to make this happen successfully. And it's not about introducing myself in a verbal way. It's not about like, oh, so this is the new me, and let me give you some feedback. Let me give you some information of my new me, and let me give you some instructions. And it's definitely not like that. It's specifically for me. It's not about me, you know, like having a document almost, figuratively speaking, and saying, hey, by the way, nice to see you again. This is my new me. Here, read this document, so you are aware. And I think that's the interesting piece. It's not about that. I'm not gonna do that, definitely. But and also, like, I don't think there shouldn't be an introduction. I don't think it's this there shouldn't. And when I think about introduction, and it's not, I don't want to, it's not making a big deal for me. I'm not gonna be like going around with, proud and saying, hey, this is the new Mew, here's a pamphlet. No, like, it's not about that. I think it's making sure that you start creating boundaries. That's gonna be your new you. People don't like it, they can move along, right? But that's how you introduce yourself. It's slowly but surely, um, introducing your new self in a way of, like, creating these boundaries, right? So I can't today, but I'll let you know when I can, right? Or, hey, I'm really not ready for this information, so why don't we change it, and we can meet another day, right? Or please don't yell, or I'm walking out and we'll talk later. Like, that's going to be the introduction. It's being affirmative and being assertive of what you want, how you want it, so that way they eventually understand where you're coming from, right? I think that's the introduction. They don't need to know anything. You don't need to be like explaining and, doing a graphic or anything. Uh, I'm not gonna do that. So yeah, and I'm gonna leave it at here. I hope all this makes sense. I just wanted to do a follow up from yesterday. 'Cause I was very passionate about what I was talking about yesterday, so I was like, oh, like, you know, uh, very hyped up about it. So I want to kind of to explain a little bit more of what that process looks like, or is going to look like for me moving forward. And I'm really, really excited about this. I am very happy. And thank you for the comments. I received a very nice comment, and they mentioned the dark side of the soul, which I think I've heard about that before, and I'm going to look into that. But I think that's what I went through recently, and I can't wait to read more about that subject. But please share any personal experiences, or if you want, and then, or ask questions as well. And feedback is welcome. And I'm sorry that this video is very long, but I just wanted to make sure that that it kind of makes sense what my goal was with this video. Anyways, take care of each other. Thank you so much again, and I'll see you next time. Bye.